Hola, Kinalita, aka Mahadi, not Mahali, the girl that calls 4 countries home. Welcome, my people. Today, I am not alone. But let me read something. I want to read you something before she even starts to utter a word. So it says, marriage breakup is a painful and lonely road. Hi, I'm Tino. At age 34, with 3 kids, living in a foreign country, Australia, no family support, clueless about what the future holds for me and my kids, I found myself experiencing a marriage breakdown. After 12 years of marriage, 16 years total of the relationship, it became inevitable. We had to go through a separation. One day, my husband came back home and made the announcement he was leaving. I felt so much anger, resentment, disappointment, bitterness, and pain. But I knew I also had to make the decision whether to beg him or to stay or let go. As you all know, begging is so much easier than letting go. I thought to myself to do the usual, just sweep the problems under the carpet and keep dealing with it every time it resurfaces. Well, maybe not this time. Oh, I will stop there. Wow, my sister, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy that we eventually made this time because our schedules have been,
Finally.
up and down, and finally you are here. You know what touched me the most, or what moved me the most about that post, is because I have seen you. I don't remember when you told me, about, or when I found out, about what you're going through, and since then I've just seen you happy. Yeah. I've just seen you in control. I've just seen you doing things on Facebook. You're even a life coach now, for break what is it, marriage breakdown?
Yeah, I do breakup coaching. I'm a life coach basically, but I do breakup coaching. Yeah, but the way I do it, really, it's not like like the bandage type of coaching where I'll be like, oh, you did that to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm big on growth mindset. So what I like to do with my clients is to really help them to find peace with the decision
situation
that they are making.
Okay.
Right? Because you find a lot of people, they'll start regretting afterward. They'll you start thinking, what if I tried this, what if I tried that?
Yeah.
So I'm just there to basically like help you go through every hurdle, really.
Yeah.
Think about anything that you feel like you might try, then eventually you make your decision whether you want to stay or whether you want to leave, but then you have that peace.
Wow.
You're at peace with whatever decision you've made, and you're forgiven if you need to forgive, and you move on with your life, and not just moving on with your life, but making progress. You start resetting those goals, like really life goes on. You go on to succeed, to be successful, not just to sit there and cry.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so please share with us, because you say that you were resentful, you were, all the things that we all feel, when such a thing happens. How did you, or maybe shall we go back, because I want to know how you moved from that to this, to where you are now. But I think let's go back to, did you see it coming? Like, when he came and said, this is over, I'm done. Is this something is it something you were expecting?
So on the actual day, I wasn't expecting it. Okay. But we had gone through autopilot for quite a long time. It was an autopilot marriage, and I could see that it was coming, and I was preparing myself for it, but
Wow.
on the actual day, you know, there was
How long would
no
you say
notice. Yeah.
the autopilot
The
period
autopilot
was?
period was probably about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yes, I think those were the the final days.
And how did you prepare yourself? Because you started preparing. Was it just a mental?
For me, I can say I was so blessed because in those final days, he suggested to go for counseling. We had tried counseling before, and we didn't get a solution.
Okay.
Yeah, because we stopped, I think, after about 2 sessions.
Okay, I was about to ask, did you see it through? Like, how
No.
many sessions did you go to? Okay.
No.
And whose idea was it to stop?
It was his idea.
Okay.
Then, so this time he had suggested to start counseling again.
Okay.
With another therapist, a different therapist, and as usual, at some point, because she split us to do individual sessions after the first one.
Okay.
Then he decided at some point to stop, not to go back for counseling. And I continued with that therapist.
Did he mention why he didn't want to continue?
When we did the final one where he decided not to continue, we went for a couple session. It was both of us there, and the way the session went, we could both see that we're not getting anywhere. But for me at that time, something had already started shifting.
Okay.
In me, and I could see that this was helping me.
Okay.
So I continued doing
your single sessions.
Yeah, so I continued doing my sessions. I even changed after that to another counselor, and I continued with my sessions. So so those were the last. So when it finally happened, it was the time when I was I'm already getting help. I was not yet strong as such, but I was getting stronger.
Yeah, not how
so
you
I
were
continued
before.
even during that time, and after we actually split.
Yeah,
I continued. I did went for counseling for 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just kept on going.
What made you change your therapist? Because I know sometimes I've heard that sometimes you might go to therapy, but you need people. I've heard people say you need to search until you find the right one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you might find that it's not because counseling doesn't work for you, but you have the person you have maybe doesn't go with you or whatever. Was that a reason for you, or what made you change?
For me, the reason was that now after the split, I could not afford to pay her.
Okay.
Yeah, she is the person who actually started building me up. Helped me build me up, and I could continue with her. But then at that time, now I could not afford paying for the sessions, so I had to. But then I didn't want to stop.
Okay.
So I had to go to someone else where I could afford
less. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the reason.
So you said by the time he came with this news, you were stronger. You were more. How would you describe yourself before that? How were you compared to?
Because you really want to know. Oh my goodness.
Because I know some of my viewers may be where you were then, and even for me, for those who've watched my videos throughout the 2 years, they know where I started and where I am now. They've seen my journey because it's been very much a public journey.
Okay, so for me, before this time, honestly, I was someone who, I think I went through say a mental breakdown, because I could not speak for myself. I was so stressed to the point that I would like we're making a conversation like this, I would just go blank. I would even forget that I was talking.
Wow.
Like I would just be absent. And there were people that were close to me at that time who started noticing, they started helping me as well. If I go blank, maybe if there's other people, they'll just take over, then they'll let me know that it happened. Yeah, and I started thinking that I was having a short-term memory loss, because I would just forget even.
So after that blankness, you wouldn't remember what was happening before that?
No, like I would forget that I was talking. Like, I would not remember example that it happened, or I would not remember that there was a conversation that I was making.
Wow.
Yeah. Then there was a time when I would just forget things. I thought I had short-term memory loss, and I was going to go to the doctors to look for help and everything. And I remember telling my doctor, and then he asked me if I was stressed about something. Yeah. Then that's when I found out that it was actually stress.
Oh, stress related.
Yeah, it was stress related. And I thought I was having a memory loss.
Oh, that would have been so scary. Were you scared, or?
Yeah, so I was. I was very worried about myself, and I wasn't sure if it was something that could be fixed. And I thought maybe there was something wrong with with my head, because I did suffer physical abuse. So I thought that maybe something happened, and so I was in a really bad position, and I would not talk to people. I wasn't socializing much with people. It was just maybe going to church, but I wasn't, I would not socialize with people. I would not make any friends. It was an isolated life. I was very isolated, even though there was people around me, but I was very isolated.
When would you say that started being like that?
Well, this started in the early stages of a relationship. So it was the very early stages. Because I met my ex when I was 18. So it started in the very early stages of the relationship. But at that point, I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I started because I would have friends, but none of the friends would be approved. But for me, because the way we are brought up in our culture, you think that, okay, I need to listen to what he's saying. If he doesn't like this friend, you let them go.
You're being a good wife.
You're being a good wife.
Oh.
Yeah. So you just start getting rid of people.
Oh my goodness.
Then you get very isolated, and live that life where you have people, but then you just isolated. You don't.
There's not really a relationship with the people.
There's no relationship with the people, and even if you have things that are happening in your marriage, how we are taught, you don't hang your dirty linen in public. You don't talk about it. So to the point, I would not even tell my own family, my siblings and my parents. I never used to tell them.
So no one knew what you were going through. But did they see the change in you? Because I remember also you were speaking somewhere at the Dockers thing. And you mentioned, and I remembered that picture of you, how you used to be so reserved, you used to look down, you didn't look people in the eye, and now you're like this confident person who's, so did your family see the change in you becoming a different, more reserved, shy person, or they didn't really, maybe they thought it's part of growing up?
Well, they were worried about me, because obviously there were certain things they would notice, but then I would just give them the picture that I was good. I was okay. I was happy when I was around my family. I was this different person. I'll just look like I'm happy, everything is going good. But then
it was not.
I wasn't. I wasn't that person. The picture that I was showing them, that I'm happy, I'm happily married.
So I'm not sure how comfortable you are to talk about your marriage. You mentioned physical abuse. When did that start?
That was the year. So that was 2011. 2011 February. Yeah. So the first time I was shocked because I'd never witnessed it before. Like,
because this is a Christian man, isn't it?
Yes. So I didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was like the start. But then you find that over the years with such things going on, you also start becoming violent. Yeah. There was a point I myself also started getting violent as well after some years, because I remember there was a particular day when I thought, I cannot just allow someone to be doing this to me. I need to fight back.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, if this happens, I have to do something. I have to fight back. So I started changing as well. Me as a person, I started changing. I started becoming violent
and toxic as well.
I started becoming very toxic. Even the words that would come out of my mouth, I just started becoming this monster. I always say that I started becoming this monster twice of the times that I was hit. I remember the other time, I'm the one who actually got one of those catalogs, and I hit him with that. I was also then. The second time, I was the one who actually slapped him first. So I had become, and these were the final days. I remember even the one where I slapped him first. These were the final days. So those are twice of the times, So you also start changing that way as a person. And even when I was going through therapy, I started realizing those things. And I didn't change. I hadn't noticed that. And that's when you start to see that this relationship is not good for me.
So up until the counseling, you felt this, you didn't see that this relationship is not good for me.
So I knew it wasn't good for me, but at the time you don't really see how bad it is until you get out. That's why you see a lot of people who say, why isn't she leaving? Why is
I know. People from outside will always
because they don't know. You don't see how bad it is. You always try and make excuses. You're always hoping for the best. You're always hoping that things will get better, and you don't see it
how bad it really is
until the time you actually get out, and then you start looking at it and you see how bad it was. That's when you start seeing the real picture. And also when you start understanding things better than you did before. Because for me, on my journey, when I started doing all this counseling and stuff, that's when all this life coaching came in, because I just got so hungry to develop myself, to work on my personal growth. Started paying for workshops, training, reading books, and all of that. So when you start understanding these things, that's when
you become passionate as well too.
Exactly. That's when you start to see that, oh my goodness, is this where I was, and you thought it wasn't that bad. So I started realizing it after how bad it really was.
So you guys are the marriage is done. Are you divorced, or what's happened? What's the
so the divorce status? Is not yet finalized. We haven't applied for a divorce yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just did the property settlement. The marriage is over.
Yeah.
So now we've just done the property settlement because we had been advised to, do that first so that it doesn't take too long.
That was the plan for us.
Yeah. So now, anytime we do the divorce, I don't think it's going to take that long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how would you say you've been coping, like, and giving other women or men, advice, like, with parenting? Once this sort of thing happens, how do you support the children and support yourself? How do you balance that? Because I found that was my biggest struggle, because I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was walking in hell. How do you then support the children when you yourself, you feel like you're barely breathing?
Yeah, so the thing is, first of all, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So you have got to fill yourself up first. You have to be okay, you yourself first, because the kids, they see things, if you're not feeling all right, they feel it as well.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So it's about if you need to get help for yourself, it's about, getting help for yourself. Is if there's things that you need to work on, you have to be the one who reach out for that help, because most of the times you find people will just sit behind closed doors and get stressed, get into depression. But you have to be the one to make that decision that I need help.
Yeah.
And you get that help, fill your cup first, so that you're okay. Then even in the plane, they'll say, you put your mask first
before trying to save others.
Yes.
Okay.
So with kids, they are relying on you. Are the adult. They are relying on you. And when this breakup happens, it affects the kids more. That's how I feel. That's how I experience it. That it affected my kids more than it affected me. The reason is because it's me and him making the decision to break up, and it's affecting the kids. The kids don't want that.
Yeah.
But they have no say.
They have no say in
They
it.
didn't choose to be our kids, but they have no say. They can't stop it. They're just there.
Yeah.
It's affecting them now. They don't know what's there for them, what's the future holds for them. So it's so hard on them.
Pretty scary thing.
Yes.
And I think that's why the guilt of feeling like you're neglecting them when you're filling up your own cup, because I think that's how I coped. I just had to let go of their pain, like deal with my pain first, because I was so overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed, like when you just feel like dying is better. You feel like, okay, no, now we're having these thoughts, we don't want these thoughts, let me concentrate on me being okay, and then I'll deal with them. But then of course then the guilt of the fact that they didn't choose this, they didn't even choose to be here, and we brought them here, and now this, and then
so for me, that's how I did it, that I had to make sure that I was okay to help them. Even during that time as well, it's not like I completely left them, but I did get job, like I got them into counseling as well.
Okay.
And they went through some counseling sessions. Then I would sit down with them. Even now I still do that. I do sessions with them.
Wow.
Yes. And it's not like a formal session, like it's formal that we sit and maybe I can just take them for afternoon tea somewhere or for lunch, in that relaxed environment. And they know. I will just say, okay, girls, we haven't had a chat in a long time. So what's been happening? Do you have any questions? anything you want to say to me, anything you think. So they're free to ask me anything, or if they feel like they need help with something. So that
so they do actually open
in.
up to you, and
yes,
okay.
And you have to create that environment for them to be able to open up
for them.
Yes.
Yeah. How old are they again?
So I've got a 12-year-old who's turning 13 in December.
Okay.
Then I've got an 11-year-old who just turned 11. Then a 2-year-old.
Okay.
Was turning 3 in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about
fast age.
Yeah. It's about just allowing them that safe space, and they know you're not going to judge whatever they think. I allow them to just tell me whatever. If they are angry with me, we talk. Are you angry with mom? I got a restraining order from my ex, so I didn't just do things. So most of the time people just do things and they just
you don't communicate.
You don't communicate.
Children.
I communicated with them to help them understand what it is and why I did that.
Okay.
And making sure that they understand that none of this is their fault. What's happening between the two adults, it's completely they didn't contribute anything to cause that. So it's important to make them understand that they didn't do anything wrong.
So they have their own relationship with him.
Yes, they love their dad to
that's
bits.
wonderful.
Yes, I made sure that I never wanted them to hate their dad, or just because we didn't get along. They did witness even some of the physical violence and all of that stuff. So I'll communicate I talk to them to make them understand that this is not the right way to live, and even for them to know that even when they grow up, you cannot allow someone to treat you like that. Right? But I still made sure they understand this is their dad. So they know, like they understand. They understand.
He loves you. He's your dad.
They know he loves them. I always tell them that. So they understand things, in a way. It's about just sitting with them, depending on the age. And
that's so awesome that you created that healthy communication, healthy home, safe home. They feel they're in a safe space to talk to you, because that's the thing. I feel like as parents, I mean, our parents would never, like, they would never tell you anything.
They just pack their bags.
You're left.
We're going.
So I think it's good. It's good that we're doing better. It's good that we're doing better. Okay, that's wonderful. So I want to hear about so what made you decide? Okay, you did say that once you were going through the counseling and everything, you felt you needed to empower yourself and do all the coaching and everything. So is that when you felt you wanted to help others? Like when did that shift from wanting to self-improve and empower to then giving to others?
So with coaching, there were, having had that experience, when I started, I was just doing personal growth coaching. Then I realized that I was, I had a lot of people who actually, who saw the shift. They saw the change in me, and they would come and talk to me, and even when each time when I talk to them, then I realized that there's this thing in our society where once that happens, everyone wants to be associated with a marriage. When there's a wedding, you get cousins that you don't even know.
Wanting to come.
Wanting to be so close, to be part of it. Everyone will come. Then when it's a divorce, a separation, when it's a breakup, it's something different. People
it's a lonely road.
People move away, and you may find that you might be on that road on your own. And then you start getting a lot of judgments from people, from society who don't people who don't even understand
the story.
You know, now I have heard this one lady telling me, oh no, you're not getting back with your husband. Now you're gonna start taking our husband. You know.
Oh wow.
People's husbands. So that, there's a lot of stereotypes.
I don't know what is it with that, but yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing because I've seen it as well. Like there are people who are now very funny. Yeah. Like they change. The women, like, because the husbands will be happy to see me because they've always been like that. We've always had that relationship with both the husband and the wife. Now you see the wife starting to change. Like when you come to say hello, the wife is not. I don't know what that is about.
Yes. So you see all those things. It's because there is stereotypes about
do divorced women actually take people's husbands?
That is the
I don't
story
I don't think that actually happens. I know about single girls or whatever taking people's husbands, but divorced people usually keep to themselves. Like a lot of them are so ashamed even. They take
that's
the
another
shame.
thing.
So they don't try to take your husband. They're so shameful. They don't even want to.
That's another thing as well.
Yeah, the shame.
People feel they feel shame. Sometimes guilt. There's sometimes regret.
Yeah.
And you find 10 years later, someone is still regretting about a divorce. Or someone is still bitter, they still haven't forgiven, they're angry, or so many years later. So that's how I just felt like, for me, with the way I just moved forward, and I'm so peaceful and happy, and I'm thinking, I can help people to do the same. It's that you don't have to be stuck in unforgiveness and hate and oh, he did this to me, oh, he did it.
Yeah.
20 years later.
How would you say you managed to, so would you say you've forgiven him?
Completely.
Amen. Amen to that. So how would you say you managed to do that? Because all these people that have still not forgiven years later, I don't think people want to be holding on to that bitterness, but they just feel they can't. They just, how would you maybe advise someone who actually wants to forgive? Some people actually don't want to forgive.
Have you forgiven?
I have. You know what happened? I thought I had, because I was fine. I was like, and then when we had this camp, the African camp, the Zim camp meeting, and the pastor preached about forgiveness on Friday night. And I realized I started crying. I realized I hadn't forgiven. I thought I had forgiven because I felt okay. I felt at peace. I felt fine. I didn't feel any anger towards him or anything. I just felt disappointment and shock and like, goodness, this guy, I can't believe this is how he is. Like I've said on my channel here before that, he keeps shocking me. And I keep believing he's a good person, and I keep seeing he keeps surprising me. So I realized at that moment that I have not forgiven. I cried so much. There was a prayer. We had to pray for ourselves to forgive. I cried so much, and I asked God to help me to forgive him. Honestly, from then I felt I'm good. I felt like I feel like I've forgiven him, and I was in such a peaceful. The next day was actually our divorce day, the 8th of October, and I didn't even realize until the following day that yesterday was the final. The divorce is now done. I didn't even think of it. I was feeling such peace towards him and acceptance. I was even saying to my daughter that if dad shows up, maybe we can all sing together because we're gonna sing at the concert. So that's how much I felt. Wow, I think I've forgiven this guy. But of course, I think there's a friend who said to me, you need to, she's going to be one of my guests actually, that you need to forgive every day, because that day I felt I had forgiven him, but things keep happening. Things keep happening, like he's pushing my buttons, I could strangle this guy. but yeah, I think everyday thing. I'm not there yet where it's like it's once, it's done. But in regards to our marriage, the marriage itself and whatever has happened, I'm okay with that. So I interpret that as having forgiven him, because I'm okay with that. It's just the parenting that's where I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so I think with forgiveness, the way I look at it, I look at I'll give this example because we're Christians.
Yeah.
How it is presented in the Bible. How people came with that woman to Jesus.
Okay.
And we said, "Oh, we caught her in sin. This.
Yeah.
And how the story, how everything. How everything unfolded. And for me, the way I look at it was that what Jesus did, there is a person there, right? And he loves that person.
Yeah.
But then there is that sin, and that sin is what
he doesn't love.
He doesn't love, right? And he separates the two. So the way I take it, the way I take it is, even me, everyone is a sinner, right?
Yeah.
But the way I take it is that there is a person there, and we are supposed to love. If we're a Christian, we love, right? Just as what?
Yeah, as God loves.
Yes. So there is a person there, and the person is to be loved, but there is this behavior, right? And this behavior is what I don't like. This is the behavior that doesn't go with me. So I separate the person from the behavior. And behavior, when we look at it as well, it is a form of pain. Pain can be can be physical, pain can be emotional, and pain can be behavioral. So I know you've opened up about narcissistic abuse, right? Yeah. And I believe that I suffered this same. My therapist is the one that actually got me to read, then I understood it. And we say that people that have got narcissistic traits, they are like they're traumatized
themselves.
They are traumatized. Something happened along the way, whether when they were young, that got them to have those traits. So they are traumatized. And that trauma is, it causes them pain, and their pain is behavioral. So that understanding that this is this behavior is coming from a point of pain, from someone who has got unhealed pain. So it's about separating that. That helps for me. Having to understand that is what helped me to forgive. And then now, how do you deal with it when, like you're saying that, when it's someone, he keeps doing things, so angry, right? You now understand that, okay, this is how this person is. They are probably never going to stop. They are never going to change.
That's what I'm like. So I'm stuck with this person forever, because as long as these kids are alive, I'm stuck with this guy.
So you know that they might keep doing what they do. Not they might, most likely. You know that, okay, you're going to to be experiencing those kind of annoyances a lot of times. So it's about boundaries. It's about you setting boundaries. Like I told you, I got a restraining order for my ex. Not that I hate him. I don't hate him.
What reaction did you get? What reaction did you get from him?
After the restraining,
Yeah.
or the completely cut communication at the time, if it included the kids. But yeah, he's back talking with the kids now.
Okay.
But then it's not that I hated him or anything, but I know that there is a behavior that is happening that is part of the personality, and I understand that I can control what I do, but I cannot control what another person does.
Yeah.
So I have to put boundaries.
Yes.
It is, I always say that, I think I did a post about that, to say it is a strength to be able to say, no, you can't treat me like this. So you put those boundaries. And you have to be firm with the boundaries. It's not that you're hating that person, but you're putting boundaries to protect yourself, and putting boundaries so that that behavior does not affect you. Yeah. So for me, that's how you do. It's not, you're not hating the person. You still love them, but
you don't have to deal with them.
You don't have to deal with that behavior that you cannot control.
That's a good part there. That you cannot control.
So what happens is, when we try to control someone else's behavior, or when I say when we try to control, I'm talking about when we are expecting, like, there's something, we're expecting a certain response, and we're expecting things to be done the way we want it, then it causes pain with us. So just
you're
know
speaking
that
to me right now.
so that causes pain to yourself. So it's about knowing that if there is a situation, I can only control my 50%. There is the other 50% that I cannot control, that is the other person, but I can control how I react to it. It hits me, and I have to control how I react to that. It's within my power to control the reaction.
Oh goodness. There's a situation that happened last night. I just ended up crying, because but crying was a better reaction than what I was thinking of doing, So I was like, okay, I'm getting there. I'm not quite there yet. This thing needs to stop, having this effect on me. I just need to handle it better. But I'm glad I didn't email him and tell Oh my goodness! Wow, that's just so grown up. Like, oh, sure. So, but how would you say that's the kind of person you are? Just to be able to just have that common sense to say, forgive, deal with this, and deal with this. But of course, with the help of counseling. But because also that's the kind of person you are.
That's the kind of person I am right now, and I think another thing as well that affects the way people react is when you try to think of what other people are going to say. For me, when we started the negotiations for the property settlement and everything, before we even started, he sent the lawyers to say, oh, I'm going to keep everything. And I said, it's okay. Because for me, a house is brick and mortar, right? So, and my lawyer was like, what? Because she's thinking, you've got the kids. Why are you not fighting for the house? I'm not fighting for the house because it's brick and mortar.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm not like encouraging people to say, don't fight for what is right or for what you're worth. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, I had to first think, what are my values? What is right for me? I didn't think about what are people afterwards. Even up to now, people say, how can you let the house go? How can you do that? Why did you not fight? If I had thought about people right now, maybe we could still be going back and forth, because I'm trying to please those people to say, oh, I can fight. I can fight. But then, is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I want to do. So I go with what I want to do.
This is so incredible, because all the women that are peacefully divorced, they just let the husband have everything. Like, every time I ask, you hear people just say, no, he wanted everything, I just gave him. wow. And I remember when I started feeling peaceful, it was straight after recording that video you're talking about, when I was talking about NPD. Like it was still heavy, all this whole thing, and I thought, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is I don't get what I want, I don't get what I deserve, I don't get any of the things he said I would get. What's the worst that could happen? I said, well, life will still go on, God will deal with him, you know. And I felt so light. I've been feeling peaceful since then, you know. But I'm not saying here, I know he's watching, I'm not saying you shouldn't give me what's worth what I'm worth. But I know also the heavy thing was thinking, what are people gonna say if I decide not to fight this guy? To just let him be, just let him not give me anything. Let him not let him not pay.
I was talking about
child support. Just leave him and live in peace.
No, well, here in Australia, though, it's not like you live with nothing, right? There is a payout. They calculate whatever is calculated, but people think that having the physical thing, like having the house, or you know, people think that is more worth, but it's not really like that. But the most important thing is, you know, that thing we were talking about when I said you need coaching. People pleasing. When you think about what people are going to say, then everything that you're going to do is going to be driven by that. And then, you know, that is not helpful to you. That is not helpful to you. It's about thinking about what gives you peace. What is best for me, what gives me peace.
Goodness,
and that is, and just thinking, you know, what are you feeling, what feels right for you,
for me.
Yes, and that is what is going to give you peace.
You're so right, because honestly, a lot of times I feel, I'm gonna let so many people down if if I just let him go.
But then you realize that it's not about
it's not about
other people. It's not about them.
Your own conviction. What has God put in your heart? What's giving you peace?
If you feel like fighting is what right
you want
for
to
you,
do, then
do it. Because if you don't fight, you're going to live in regret. You're going to not just regret, you're going to hate, you're going, you know, all those nasty things. You're going
bitterness
to
and
have
everything.
So much bitterness. So if you feel like fighting is what is right for me, then fight.
I love that point, because I feel like this divorce thing, actually there's a friend who said this to me. She's been divorced for a few years, and I was asking her, what would you advise? She said, just make sure this is what you want. Make sure that everything that happens is what you want. Because last thing you want is to regret or be blaming people for advising you in a certain way or whatever. Just be true to yourself and be true to what you want, and you will have peace about everything. Okay, so how do people then get hold of you, people who want coaching, and how much is it and everything? I don't know how much you can say. Do you charge? Is it like, how does it work? If someone wants coaching. I mean, I've seen your coaching thing before. Like, you always post things that are relevant to me. I'm like, you know. And I've been thinking, has she really actually healed? Has she? But you know, I've seen you, I've been watching you, and I'm talking to you now. I'm seeing that this woman has healed. She's okay.
And you know the healing, where it comes from. Well, it's about, you know how when people split, you know, when people become amazing, it's about, he did this, she did that, he did this. When you stop pointing that finger, and then
introspect that what was my part?
Not necessarily what was my part. I know that's a common thing where people say, it's something to reflect, to see what was your part. But then, you know, looking at yourself to think about, okay, what serves me now moving forward, right? If we can sit here talking about, looking back, talking about the past, what happened, and this and this and that. But it's about now, what are the real lessons? As part of my coaching package, I've got the whole session of that, with the real lessons that you learn that you've learned from the relationship. You know, you got into this, all these things happened, and for anything bad that has happened, there was, you allowed it. As harsh as that might sound, it's harsh, but then you allowed it. And it's not that you allowed it because how can I say, you allowed it because maybe you didn't know better at the time. Now you know better and you understand better. That's why you are acting different, and that's why you are making the decision to say, no, I cannot go on with this, because you now know better. So now that you know better, would you rather go backwards to where you didn't know better, or you rather move forward to getting even better?
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, you were asking about about coaching, where people will find me. So you can contact me on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. I read those messages on Messenger. And
on your coaching page, or on your personal one?
Even my personal one.
Okay, can you just tell them what
I'm
it's
mostly called? So TINO RUZIVE is my personal page. Then Breakup Coach TINO is my the business page. Then I've got a group as well, Redefining Self with TINO. So if you go on my Facebook page, Breakup Coach TINO, or TINO RUZIVE, my personal profile, there is a link there for people that want to join the group. And it's for ladies only. My goodness, I've got so many gentlemen wanting to join. Then when I stop them from joining, like when I
tell them that,
when I decline their request, they come to my inbox and say, "But we need to be in there. How do they only their own?"
I get you guys. I get you, and I totally get that, because even for me, with my YouTube, when I decided to be open and talking, I was talking to fellow ladies who are going through what I'm going through, and then I started getting inboxes from men, who are strong. Even now, the NPD thing, the narcissism upload, there was a man calling me, like, like, oh, I went through the same thing. I didn't know what I was going through. So there are men who need this.
Well, I have coach men. I still do coach men. Like when they come to me, we see if they're a good fit, if they if they see value in what I do. We have I have the first free call, the complimentary call, where we'll discuss to see if someone is a good fit. I work with integrity. If I see that I cannot help you, I can refer you somewhere. I'm not just there to say, okay, everyone comes. So I still get men who come to me like that, but but then because I've lived experience as a woman, so I've decided to niche down to women. Yes. So so the group at the moment is for women only. Maybe in future I might open a group for both men and women, but for now it's for women only. Then my email is redefining self with coach TINO.com. I nearly said at Gmail. But yes, redefining.
At what? Because if it's an email, it must be at something.
No, this one is redefining self with coach TINO.com.
That's your website.
Now you're confusing.
Because if it's an email, at something.
All right, I'll give you after this. Then
I'll put on here her email address.
Yes.
Otherwise, So I guess you're gonna talk in secret about your prices when they contact you. That's when
they contact me, because it will now depend with the package.
What needs to be done?
It will depend with the package that they get, because they are different packages. So so that will depend now. That's why I get on the initial call, and the initial call is free, so that we get to decide. We assess someone might need maybe to go through the whole program, but then maybe some people might need to to have specific session that they need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, because I've been going through my own therapy like for almost 2 years now, but I feel like I need coaching, because because I want specific, you know what I mean? Specific help. So I'm pretty sure I'll be getting in touch, and we talk about that first session, and then you can assess if if I'm a good client, or if if I need referral. Yeah, no, thank you so much for making time, for coming this evening. And I just want to commend you honestly and just say well done. I mean, we praise God because we always give glory to him, but well done honestly for just allowing yourself to heal and be a blessing in a way that you are, to step out in bravery, because I think that's pretty brave to then come on Facebook and advertise that this is what you're doing and share what you're going through. People always say I'm brave, but I don't see it that way. But when I see it someone else doing, I was like, wow, this is actually brave to come there and share your personal, this is your personal life, and you're sharing it to empower others, to help others. So
that is a strength that you have as well.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yes,
I guess. You see, I still struggle to see myself. I need coaching.
You too. Yeah, because that is a strength in itself. It's it's not everyone that can just come out and just tell their story.
Yeah.
And so that vulnerability, being vulnerable, is a strength.
Yeah.
And you find that every time you I see that myself, every time I get vulnerable, talking about my story, sharing anything about myself, every single time there's always someone who come to me.
Wow.
Even when other people think they're in a perfect relationship, they're good and happy, but they've been suffering for years on their own, and they think that they're alone. And when you just become that vulnerable, they realize that
it's not just me,
and they feel safe to come to you and have that chat.
That's
and
true.
A lot of times I've talked to women who would tell me that Tino is the first time I've ever opened up to anyone.
Wow.
So what you're doing, being vulnerable, it is a strength, and not just a strength, it has got a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Because someone is going to draw strength from that. And when they draw strength from, if it's another woman, they draw strength from what from you being vulnerable. It's going to help them make decisions that will affect their kids, that will affect people around them. So,
that's
well
true.
done.
Wow. Gonna make me cry. Wow. No, I love this. I think we're each other's keeper as women. I mean, as the human race, we're each other's keeper, and I love this. I remember when I saw that, okay, this is my life, my marriage came to an end, and I did not want it to be a shameful thing. I did not want people, because there's so many women just feel the shame. I just wanted us to know that we are enough. We are. You've lost the love of your life. You've lost a dream. You've lost the future that you were hoping for. But you're still you, you're still created for a purpose. You're still fearfully and wonderfully made. And all these things as well, for me, I came to them through other people's words to me when they saw how I was in the past times when we have been separated. I was such low self-esteem, self-loathing, and all those things. It took me years to see that. No, I mean, even my father used to, this time round, he used to stress it how much God loves me, how much, and I realized that, I'm not the only one, because the reason I even feel like this is because it's a societal thing. Even in our church, whatever, like you get treated differently because you're divorced. There's this whole thing, but I just felt we needed to get ourselves together and put back our crowns as women, and no, it's their loss. These men, it's their loss.
And you know what? And I prefer not to actually even call it a loss.
Okay.
Because you have, if you had not gone through, for me, I would never change anything that happened to me. Everything that I've experienced, I would not change it for anything, whether it's the physical abuse, emotional, the financial. I would not change it for anything. The reason why, that is what made me who I am now. If I had to change anything, then I wouldn't be where I am.
Wow.
So I'm grateful to God for everything I've experienced.
Wow.
I'm grateful to God that I met my ex, because it's not like I went on a wrong path. This is the path that I was supposed. God knew that I was gonna come out of this stronger.
Wow. So he put you in it.
He knew. So so it is not a loss, it's a gain. I've gained this person, and this person that I've gained moving forward is getting even, it's gonna, I'm gonna get even better. So, it's the same as you. If you had not gone through what you have gone through, you wouldn't be sharing, wouldn't be getting vulnerable, telling people your story and changing. You will have no idea of the number of people that are going to find strength from your story, and some of them, a lot of them, you will not even get to meet them or talk to them. So there is no mistake. It is a path that we're supposed to walk. We are supposed to walk this path, and there's no reason to change anything. And even for them, the men themselves, you just hope that, and even you talked about shame. I wanted to comment on that, because I was listening to Brené Brown. I don't know if you know her. Who's that? Brené Brown. Okay. She did an extensive research on shame. And I like how she describes shame, that shame is it's this, what can I say, shame is like when you're able to say that I am bad. Sorry. When you say I am, when you say I am bad, how I was.
Hi guys, my phone got full, so we're using Hallie's phone to just finish off our conversation, just to say a proper goodbye, because I was just saying that I'm not sure how much of what she was saying got recorded. But I was just saying what she said was reminded me of a quote that I saw yesterday that said, it's okay to start over. Don't be afraid of starting over. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So in closing, what would you like to leave my viewers with, fellow ladies and gentlemen that may be experiencing this, or even the children that are in homes that are like this? What would you like to say?
What I would say is that pain is inevitable. When you go through a marriage or relationship breakdown, you go through pain. It's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about that. Everyone experiences pain, but suffering is a choice.
Wow.
You get to be the one who decides how long you want to suffer.
Wow.
So what I always tell people is, put a timer to your suffering. How long do you want to suffer? If someone asks you how long do you want to suffer, when do you want to stop the suffering, it should be now. And when making that decision to stop the suffering is now where you make the decision on how you want to move on. Wow. Getting that help. But if you're sitting there crying, you're not going to get any solution from that. And there is no help that is just going to magically appear. You have to reach out for the help.
Wow.
So I know it can be very painful, but just to remind people that that decision is for you to make, to reach out for help when you need, to stop the suffering as early as possible. And bitterness, like they always say, is like drinking your own
drinking
poison
and hoping the other person dies.
And you drink it yourself, so it doesn't really help. Just accepting that you have no control of someone else's behavior, and learning your own lessons, and knowing that it's not the end, it's the start.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, I love that. I love that. It's not the end, it's the start. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that, because I think so many of us, what makes us feel that low and all these negative thoughts, wanting to end it all or whatever, like what drives us to that dark place is the belief this is the end, my life is over. People say my life is over, but it is not the end, it is the start. That's powerful. Oh, I love that. I love it for me as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. Sure. Whew. Thank you so much for staying with us. I know you have learned these nuggets. I hope you had your paper and pen, and I know you will be coming back here, share with people. I know someone, if you're not going through this, someone who has, or someone who is struggling, because sadly that's just what's happening in the world, and we thank God for people like Tino who have been able to take this positive outlook to it. And I hope you have been encouraged and not feeling bad that you've been having a different outlook, but that you feel empowered and encouraged now to actually change your outlook. Thank you so much. Remember that you are enough. Remember that you are beautiful. Remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you so much for watching. Love you, but remember that God loves you even more, and that is true. Ciao, ciao. Thanks, Tino.
Thanks.
Hella, you watched everything. Thank you so much for watching everything. Now don't forget to subscribe and go back to my other videos and scroll and watch everything. There's very good things in here, very good interesting things. You are number one. Now thank you, and take care of yourself.